Coming up. Well, I'll let the M5 tell you. Changes in the dojo.
Yes, it's another Bendpak 2-post lift.
Dashboard operation.
And you're looking ugly as well.
And Project Raleigh goes on the lie detector.
Hello, I gotta do a bit of work on Project Raleigh, my 2007 E60 M5 with the glorious 6-speed manual transmission, but I also gotta do a bit of work on Project X5, 2008 E70 X5. Not enough for one full episode, so I thought why not combine them together and make one quick video? Is that cool with you? All right, so let's start with the big guy, save the best for last. Got a cup of James here, feeling kind of sleepy. The big giant is doing really well. My girlfriend absolutely loves this thing. She doesn't use it every day because she works from home, but whenever we go out of town and she wants to drive, we take this. It's very easy to drive. She sits higher, so she feels safer. Big mirrors, automatic. She just enjoys the drive. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed with it as well. Very comfortable on long journeys, stable at high speeds, handles amazing for a big box. And the V8 N62 engine is just brilliant. Plenty of power, plenty of torque. Great sound. I love it. But anyway, customer states, me, the AC is not working. I can't remember if I checked that when I bought the car, but I know that the system is completely empty and the compressor bearing is noisy, so we're going to replace the compressor and the AC condenser just because the system was empty, and then pull the vacuum and see if it holds. The climate controls are acting erratically. They just don't work and don't listen to any of the commands that I input. For example, I would set this side to blow cold air, it would blow hot air, and then all of a sudden it will blow hot air from all of the vents or cold air. It's all over the place. So I replaced the heater core valve in the engine bay, which is the usual suspect when the climate controls are misbehaving. Didn't help. Replaced the panel, coded it to the car. Same thing. Then I read online that if the AC system is discharged on this car, the climate controls will not work properly, which doesn't make any sense to me, but I know I need to fix the AC system anyway, so we'll start from there and see where we end up. This is gonna suck. As usual, the access on this thing is an absolute nightmare. So I think I'm gonna remove this lower coolant hose, the vacuum pump, and then I'll have a bit better access to the AC compressor that's right over there. So I'm gonna get the car up in the air, remove the engine under tray, and start draining the coolant. No way, Jose. No oil leaks. What a surprise! Now I'm gonna remove the pump here. All right, now I can at least see the compressor. Ooh. Yep, smacked my fingers, but the belt's off. Listen to that thing. Well, I can't spin it properly, but trust me, it's very noisy. Anyway, now I need to unplug the connector and then the two lines. Connector unplugged. There are two lines that I can't even see, man. Maybe the trick is to get the lines out together with the compressor. Okay, we'll try that. There are 3 bolts holding the compressor in. Okay, one is out. Let go. This bracket as well. And then the last one is in the back. Wow, you gotta be really skinny and long for this. Ooh. Got the 3rd bolt out. All right, let's unbolt the line from the condenser here. There it is. Oh, there it is. Everything is in the way. Okay. Oh, there. Man, this sucker is rusty. Why is there hair here? Did my girlfriend work on this car? All right, now we need to see how much oil is going to come out of this compressor. Can't be it, can it? Okay, that's pretty ridiculous. Nothing's coming out. Yeah. Now you can hear it. So here's the brand new one from Raleigh. Don't tell me that's all. They usually come full. All right, only 17 milliliters of oil came out of the new compressor. I thought it's gonna be more. And then nothing came out of the old one. And the repair manual says in that case that we need to add 50 milliliters for the replacement of the compressor. And since we're also replacing the condenser with the dryer, that's another 55 milliliters. So we need a total of 105 milliliters of oil, and I don't have any in stock. So I just called every store in the area. I need PAO 68 oil for this compressor. At least that's what Raleigh parts catalog says, and no one has that in stock. The earliest I can get it is tomorrow morning. So we're gonna leave this on the side and do whatever else we need to do. The winter is finally over, so we need to switch to summer tires. And also remember the caliper brackets that I painted with high temperature resistant paint. That's all rust now, so I need to blast them again and paint them with proper paint. But another thing has been bugging me as well. I refreshed everything in the front suspension apart from the wheel bearings. I kind of overlooked that. They are inexpensive, not that difficult to replace, so we're gonna do them now. Never let the caliper hang by the brake line. So this is high temperature resistant paint. This started to rust after about 2 days. So I'm gonna go remove this on the other side as well, blast it real quick, and then paint it so it can dry.
I had some issues with the microphone here, but anyway, this time around I'm using Foliatech 2-component caliper paint for long-lasting finish.
Now I'm gonna continue with the wheel bearing. So to replace the wheel bearing is pretty straightforward. We need to remove this nut here, push out the drive shaft, and then there are 4 bolts on the back holding it to the steering knuckle, and then it'll just pop out. It's turning. All 4 bolts removed. Honestly, not that bad. Brand new OE FAG wheel bearing that comes with new bolts as well. The new one just slides on apparently, which is dope. Brand new nut. It's 80 millimeters, so about there. That's 90. Wheel hub paste only on the lip here. Here's the repainted bracket. Looks beautiful. Brake paste. Now I need to bend the tabs. Don't forget the caps. This side is done. I'm gonna go copy paste on the other side, and then we'll reattach the sway bar link. Summer wheels, baby. Always start wheel bolts by hand. Don't start them with an impact. You'll strip the threads. I gotta say, I wasn't a big fan of these wheels, but now I am. They look fantastic. This is the oil, original Raleigh PAO 68. Clean cup. And we're gonna go with 105 milliliters of oil. About 50 milliliters in the compressor, and then the rest in the AC condenser. That way we spread the oil throughout the system. To replace the O-ring here, got the new ones here. A little bit of oil on the O-ring. Gonna replace the O-ring here as well. Lube up the O-ring. I can retract this one a little bit. There's like a threaded sleeve that you can retract. Nice, good and easy. Oh yeah, that was the thicket. So 8 mil hex goes into that sleeve, so you can back it out, and then once you put the compressor in, you can, well, back it in. Of course I dropped it. And now I'm gonna spend 3 years looking for it. This is the most ungrateful car to work on, like, ever. No access for anything. All right, that's all of the bolts torqued. And now the condenser. Oh, there it is. Go get the oil. Now I need to pull the vacuum, get all of the moisture out of the system, and see if it'll hold the vacuum. If it does, then that means we don't have any leaks and we are safe to recharge the system. If it doesn't hold vacuum, then we have more problems to troubleshoot. My El Cheapo manifold gauges. This is the low side. And this is the high pressure side. Now I'm gonna let the pump run for about 20-30 minutes. Pull the vacuum, so we're gonna let it work. The pump has been running for about half an hour, so we're gonna shut this down, close the valves. All right, I'm gonna let this sit for about 30 minutes, probably even more. I'm gonna go home and have dinner. And if these gauges don't move, that means the system is holding vacuum, it's sealed, and we are safe to reassemble everything and recharge the AC system. Well-fed Stratton coming to you an hour later. Looks like the gauges didn't move one bit, which means the system is holding vacuum, there are no leaks, and we are safe to proceed. It's reassembly time. So plug in the compressor. There it is. Now the belt is installed correctly. Proper pain. Vacuum pump with a new O-ring. Plug in the coolant hose there. Gonna let it run for a couple of minutes, then check the coolant level again. I'm gonna put back the plastic cover underneath, and tomorrow morning I'm gonna stop by a nearby shop, get the AC system recharged, and let's see if it finally works as it should. I got the AC system recharged this morning, and we have good news, bad news. Good news, the AC system is working just fine. If I press the button, the compressor kicks in and we get cold air from the vents. The bad news, the climate controls are still erratical. If I set passenger side to blow hot air, like all the way to the max, the air is really weak. It's somewhat hot, but it's not blowing hot air. And more annoyingly, I get hot air coming from the top, from this vent here, and then on the windshield, which is super annoying when you're driving because it's blowing hot air constantly into my face. And you can also play in the iDrive here and set it to hot or cold, but it doesn't matter what I do here, it's constantly blowing hot air from the top vents. And so far I've replaced the heater core valve in the engine bay, I replaced this panel here, I replaced the blower motor and the resistor. That leaves us with one thing. Heater core is what we in showbiz call f***ed. And that's a bummer. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense at this point that needs to be replaced. There are some small sensors here and there, but I don't think that's the issue. I think it's the heat exchanger itself. To replace it, the entire dashboard needs to come out and then everything underneath it. It is a massive job, and frankly, I don't have time to do it right now. So I'm gonna leave that for, well, I'm gonna have to fix this before the next winter comes, I guess. Because right now, with summer coming, I can just turn off the top vents all the way off, then it's not gonna blow any cold air, any air through the top, and I'm gonna get the AC from these vents here, which is totally fine to get through the summer. But I think the reason why the heater core is bad is because they didn't use correct coolant in this car. I remember when I drained it the first time, it was just pure water, so the radiator is just probably plugged solid or whatever. Bummer, but it is what it is. Let's move on. This is actually the real reason for this video. I wanted to gift the world with glorious S85 V10 noises. First order of business, an oil change. Unglaublich. Another BMW without oil leaks. Good unit. Not a single drop or a weep or anything. Everything looks magnificent in this vehicle. W50. And the second drain plug. Take a mental picture here. Leak-free BMW, you don't see that often. And in case you think I'm lying, just look at the bottom tray. No leaks here, sir. A little bit wet from water because it was raining earlier, but no bodily fluids. I would like a bucket of rod bearings. Now I'm gonna go around, just double check everything, see if there are any errors in the matrix. If all is good, then we're gonna go up top and replenish it with oil. This time around we're going with 10W60. I want to do back-to-back oil analysis with 5W50 and see what the spec sheet says, although I have been quite happy with 5W50. Now I'm going to switch to summer tires, but also it's been about 2 years since I changed the brake fluid. I was also pretty hard on the brakes, so we're going to bleed the brake system and also bleed the clutch line. Not sure if it was ever done before. I certainly didn't do it, so we're going to do that at the same time. So let's start with that. Gonna do air filters real quick. Keep forgetting to buy this rubber here. First we're gonna withdraw the old fluid. It looks pretty good. Get the fresh stuff. Fluid is coming out. Doesn't look too bad. I'm gonna go up top, check the fluid level and press the clutch a couple of times, see how it feels. Just finished bleeding the clutch line and the clutch pedal actually feels noticeably better. It was a bit mushy before and now it's just perfect. There's no dead travel and it feels great under your foot, and it grabs about halfway, maybe a little bit lower, which is spot on. I don't know if this is the original clutch, but it still feels very strong. These are style 184 wheels, original winter wheels for the E60 M5. I was using the car this winter and I needed winter tires, of course, and I scored these locally. 600 euros in really decent condition with nearly brand new tires. Dunlop 245, 45, 18, but they are run flats, so they completely ruined the ride. So for the next winter, I'm gonna swap them out for something softer and better than this. And since I was using the car in winter, I fluid filmed the entire underbody of the car and there isn't a single speck of rust anywhere because fluid film is going to protect it from rusting and salt eating away at the chassis. Say hello to Mutsi again. Mutsi. We're babysitting her again. Mutsi, come. She's a very smart dog. She loves being in sun. Hates the rain though. Why so cute, Mutsi? Hmm? Mutsi was just complaining she needs some attention. Come. Come, Mutsi. Just finished bleeding all 4 corners and the brake fluid actually looks good, which is how it should be. You don't want to let it go all black and gooey. It's just going to ruin the entire braking system. So brake fluid, replace it every 2 years, preferably. I do it on all of my cars, regardless of the mileage and usage. Brake fluid is hygroscopic, it absorbs moisture, so 2 years is my maintenance schedule for replacing the brake fluid. The brakes itself, I put Zimmermann pads and rotors and they are doing really well. I gotta say, I'm really happy with them. They are still straight as an arrow and they brake phenomenal. The stopping power of this car is by far the best of all of the cars that I have. They just bite and bite. Summer wheels, which I need to refinish at some point. Line up the cap with the M emblem here. I checked the tire pressure and now we can torque the wheels. Yes, it's another Bendpak 2-post lift. Luke and I just installed it a couple of days ago and I'm beyond thrilled to have another one of these beautiful machines in the dojo. The scissor lift that used to reside here went for a walk into my landlord's garage. When I was initially ordering lifts and tools for this garage, I really thought that I'm gonna get more use out of the scissor lift. And the scissor lift is perfect if you're doing smaller jobs, if you're replacing brakes, wheels, if you're polishing the car. For that it's perfect, but 90% of the time here I'm doing big mechanical jobs, and for that it's pretty useless. I can't drop an engine, I can't work comfortable underneath of the car. So I decided to get another 2-post lift, and Bendpak kindly supported the channel once again with this beautiful 2-post lift. This is XPR 9S. And then Luke, an absolute legend, came down from the Netherlands yet again to help me install it. He doesn't have to do that at all. He can just send me the lift and say, yeah, here, do it yourself. But no, he comes every single time. On top of that, he designed reinforcement plates for this lift because the concrete in this garage is not exactly that great. So nice big thick plates, and we managed to torque every single anchor bolt to the spec. I really can't thank enough Luke and Bendpak for their support with all of this. The reason why I didn't go with the same kind as what we have over there with the beam on the top is because it simply can't fit here. The ceiling is a little bit lower, and this one actually works great because you can lift the car higher than that one. And I thought that the plate on the bottom might be a problem, you know, if you're dropping the transmission or something, but it's really not at all because the transmission is right over here. The engine is right over there, so I can comfortably get my jacks and tools and whatnot and just drop whatever I need to drop. So now we're gonna continue working on Project Raleigh, E60 M5, and right after that, M3. I'm done waiting. I can't do it anymore. I have a 2-post lift. We need to take that engine out and see what happened. So let's get to work. That's going to be the next episode, probably. And it's also a lot wider than that one over there, so I can open the doors a lot easier. It's fantastic. Look how much space we have to work with. Plenty of space on the sides to open the doors, and you can lift the car really high up in the air. So this is freaking awesome. It's really, really good. And there you can see the reinforcement plates. You can lift a tank with this lift. We need to replace the starter. It started acting up recently. I had 3 instances where the car wouldn't start. You press the start button and the starter won't engage. Then I let the car sit for about 5-10 minutes and then it starts just fine. Actually, this morning on the way to the shop, I had that exact same issue. So we need to sort it out because I can't risk this car leaving me stranded somewhere. On top of that, we need to resolve one more annoying issue, which is every time I fuel up, I get an annoying pop-up in the dash saying that I need to retighten the fuel cap, which, you know, I've done that already. And I found a thread on M5 board listing some of the parts that we need to replace, and I bought those parts about 6 months ago. I don't remember where they are or what they're called, but I know they're somewhere in the box over there. So I'm gonna go find them, and I know they're located underneath of the plenum, so we're gonna knock all of that out in one go. Hello, beautiful. We're gonna raise the car a little bit so it's easier on my back. That's the stuff. We need to protect the mint paint. Can put the hood in the service position. Got my L stick here. I was looking for this. I thought someone stole it, but turns out it was hiding right over there. That'll work. The starter on the S85 engine as well as S65 engine in the M3 is located in the V of the engine. So everything on the top of the engine needs to come out, but wait, there's more. The starter is held to the engine with 3 bolts through the transmission from the backside of the engine, which means you have to remove the entire exhaust, the prop shaft, the transmission cross member, and then lower the transmission slightly so you can get to those bolts. But we are going to cheat slightly and do none of that. We are simply going to leave the starter bolted to the engine, but remove the guts of it, so all of the internals, and then do the same with the brand new starter that I have on the table over there, and just transfer brand new components into the old starter housing. That way we have a brand new starter. We just didn't mess with the housing and all of that stuff. And now the beautiful microfiber intake plenums. Now I'm gonna go and disconnect the battery. Now I need to disconnect this wiring harness and lift it out of the way. Swing that to the side. Now we're going to remove the idle control valves, and these are very expensive, only available through the dealer, and about 500 and something euros per bank. All right. My bad, these two are idle actuators, not idle control valves. And now we have a straight shot at the starter. Let's start with this assembly. So now we have two long screws here and two small screws on the back here. Cool. Dirty. What now? It doesn't really matter if you break this one, I guess. There we are. Honestly, that wasn't that bad at all. Only the housing is left on the engine. We successfully disassembled the entire thing. This is the refurbished OE Valeo starter. It wasn't terribly too expensive, around 180 euros, I want to say. And now we're going to do the same thing, take it apart and transfer over the internals to the old starter housing on the engine. Brand new, look at that. So you can see here. All right, let's go put this on the car. First, a round of vacuuming. Now, carefully slide this one into place. All right. You can see it engaging here, which is good. And that's the starter replacement done. I'd say that's a lot easier than dropping the exhaust, the prop shaft, lowering the transmission. Wouldn't you agree? And now it's just a matter of reassembly. We are going to replace these two valves here with OE Bosch parts. They can cause the fuel cap not being tight air on the dash. Brand new rubber hose as well. Brand new cabin air filters. And I also finally ordered a missing trim here. That's been missing ever since I got the car. This one goes there. And we have this piece that goes here, apparently. And then where does this go? I think it goes here. Oh, I see. There it is. Let's see if it starts. It does. Yes. The cheat worked. That was so much easier than dropping the entire exhaust and the prop shaft and all of that mess underneath. Can highly recommend this method. Anyway, we need to do a little bit more work. A little bird lives in the dash. Now, I enjoy a good bird chirp as much as the next guy, but when it's constant and super loud, you just wanna, shut it up. This has been an on and off issue since I got the car. In the beginning it was very mild, but now it's very irritating and we need to fix it. The fan blower is making that noise. It lives somewhere over here, so we need to take apart this part of the dashboard and replace it. So first I'm going to remove the shift knob and the steering wheel so we don't damage it in the process. This is the F10 illuminated shift knob that I installed. Can I disconnect the battery? Oh, what's the issue, man? I am pressing on the thing, though. For some strange... Ah, there it is. Stupid thing. Thank you very much. You're welcome. There. Screw here. 5 screws in total. Ow! Throw this away, or at least put it somewhere where you can step on it and break it. The beautiful wood trim. Screws. Oh, what's that white stuff, man? I don't want to break you, but I will. Oh, look at that. Remember that white stuff that we found on the headliner when we detailed the interior? We have it here as well. Look at that, it's right there. I think a big ass soda can or something exploded in the interior and just went everywhere. Do you pop? Oh. Disconnect. 3 million connectors in the back. All right. We're cool, we're cool. We're all friends here. I just vacuumed the interior and look at this. Screws. Oh no, 2 Torx screws here. There it is, I think. There we go. Put that on the side. Now this can come out. There are 2 clips. Clips be clipping, man. Well, how did they figure this out? Well, I guess something is happening. Bend it, man. That's out. Air duct in the middle. Another air duct. And then another one here on the left side. Here's what we have. I removed 3 pieces of the air duct. And behind that cover lives the fan blower and the blower resistor. Now we have 4 screws to remove and then we can pop this cover.
And there's the blower fan. Man, are you the guy that makes all this noise? Why are you so flimsy? And you're looking ugly as well.
Okay, okay. Jeez. Sweet papaya, rusty as well. This is the culprit. The fan blower looks very worn out indeed. I bought a new one, but I forgot to order the blower resistor as well. And that's something that I definitely want to replace while in here. I just placed an order for it. That's gonna come in the morning. So we're gonna pick this up tomorrow. Right now, we're gonna focus on soft touch plastic. We need to remove soft touch plastic from the window switch cover as well. So the door panel needs to be removed. There's 1 screw here. Pop the airbag cover. By the way, if anyone has LCI full leather door panels, I wanna buy them, like badly. I really don't like the design of the pre-LCI door panels, but the problem is this car has complete leather inside the dashboard, Alcantara on the roof, everything. And finding LCI full leather door panels is, well, I haven't been successful in finding them. There are 2 9mm nuts that hold the switch in place. Now I need to disassemble this. And now this thing here. So now I need to remove the soft touch and then prep it for paint. You remember this, we've done this on Alpina. So I'm gonna use Liqui Moly Orange Cleaner, which should help dissolve soft touch garbage. I mean, soft touch is really nice when the car is brand new. But as it ages, this looks horrible. Let that sit for a bit. Look at that. So a nice subscriber gave me European climate control panel that has Celsius and not Fahrenheit. Comes off rather easily. First we're going to use plastic primer and then matte black paint. After that you can use matte clear coat, but in this instance I'm going to go without it because the finish is a bit nicer. This acrylic matte black paint is durable enough on its own. Here's their finished plastic. Looks great. Now we need to reassemble this. I've cleaned the buttons. Nice. Soft touch plastic, be gone. Here's the blower resistor. I ordered it yesterday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and it arrived this morning at my local dealer. Male or Bear, same thing. Here's the new blower fan. It's possible that I use this box as a paint booth at some point. And this is Male Bear OE part made in Germany. This is their premium line. Here it is, it's tiny. We need to transfer over this cable. Like this.
bit of cleaning. Another air duct. There's a connector on this one. Don't forget to plug that back in. This one as well has a connector. I don't know how this is gonna work. Sit rep. We need to remove the center console as well, otherwise I can't get the center air duct back in place. Tried. There's no way. You can take it out, but you can't put it back in. I need to remove the vent in the back. So I don't want to remove it completely if I don't have to. There it is. Beautiful. The shift loop. All right, let's go for a drive. I just fueled up, and for the first time ever, I'm not getting that error to check the fuel cap. So hopefully the problem is resolved. It wasn't a big problem, just an annoying one. God, I love this car. Slow down, too much traffic. I love how this car screams now. The carbon intakes, the best thing I've done on this car. That and Bilstein shocks. Well, the whole car actually. This along E60 M5, my absolute favorite car to drive. You can actually hear the throttle bodies opening when you like half a throttle and when you do full throttle. What a machine. Rev matching is really easy as well. It's time to put Project Raleigh on the lie detector. Oh man, this is gonna sound good.
More power than stock, 514. 507 is factory. So what we learned here is not having the M button on is bad. It's really bad. Guess who's feeling proud and a bit smug? Remember that Top Gear episode when Clarkson tested the E60 M5 for the very first time? He moaned about everything, about the turn signal stock, and then he pressed the M button on the steering wheel and the beast was unleashed. That's what happened here. It's unbelievable how much difference can a tiny button on the steering wheel make. And let the record show that the 5-liter S85 naturally aspirated V10 engine in this car has 246,000 kilometers. And it's predominantly original stock internal components, except for the rod bearings, of course. That is a wear and maintenance item on this engine. Of course, a lot of preventive maintenance, but I'm hugely impressed with this car. I mean, show me another 4-door V10 that's making this much power. Hell, show me another V10 that has this many miles and that it's predominantly original. And then you have people say that the S85 is not a good engine. It's one of the best engines that BMW ever made, period. I love this car, I adore it. I really do. And keep in mind that those dyno results, the results that we got, that was after a 4th dyno run. First 2 were done without the M mode because I forgot to tell him to press the button, and then he did 2 more, and by that point the car was really heat soaked, and the air duct in the front, it's only rated up to 140 kilometers per hour, and he had to hit 260 to, you know, get the full reading. So in ideal, better conditions, this car is making even more power, and that's because he has a slight mod to it. And on top of that, Oli from OE Motors told me that he can do an even better tune for this car, so he can make even more power, which is just ridiculous. Long live E60 M5. One of the best cars the BMW ever made. The only thing that this car needs right now is paint, but to be honest with you, I really don't care. I enjoy this car so much that the paint just doesn't matter. I perfected Alpina, and now it's difficult to use that car. This past weekend I went on a road trip with it, and I had to give my girlfriend a lecture how to open and close the doors because you can't touch the paint. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate that. The next one is going to be on Project Frankfurt. It's time to make that S85 engine as good as this one. Ciao!